I'm Grisel.
Hi, I'm Marisol.
And you're listening to Mental.
Margarita.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So this is episode 6, I want to say. We've made it through 6 weeks of this.
It's been a while already.
Some exciting news. We're working on a few things in the background. They're still in the early stages, but we're going to try to revamp this whole podcast. Hopefully we'll be able to find somebody that can contribute financially to us being able to revamp not only the space that we're recording in, but maybe some equipment as well. And then a few decorations for you guys to look at. Not that our grandma isn't like great enough, but I know that you guys probably want a little bit more of a wow factor. So all of that's in the works. Hopefully we get that funding.
Yeah.
We'll see soon.
What's up, Grisel? How's your week been looking?
It's been a blur. I feel
there's a lot going on.
There's still a lot going on. But even just like with my own life, I feel like haven't done much. I've stayed on track. I know last week we talked about me trying to get back into my routine. Mm-hmm. And I stayed on track this whole week, so I'm so proud of myself. It's been really, really hard.
I gotta follow your lead here because I sure have not been.
What do you mean? What is your ideal routine look like?
To me, I feel like if I don't get exercising done, like as I wake up, it won't get done.
Okay.
Towards the end of the day, I'm already it's not happening. I'm drained. Mm-hmm. But it has to be done first thing in the morning.
Okay. So are we talking 5, 6,
yes,
7?
I think so.
What, 5?
5 or 6. It has to be done
That's
early.
a little too early for me.
Yeah, no, it has to be early because, and then I'm just in go mode for the kids and then doing stuff. Like once they're at school, I have my mindset on other things. Like I can't focus on exercising.
Okay.
I've tried it, but it's not like I'm into it, you know?
Yeah.
I've noticed it has to be crack of dawn type of thing.
So are you more like focused on it in the morning,
or
is it because you're not focused and it kind of like breezes through that you want it in the morning?
I think so. I feel like I'm more like into it. Like I want to actually work out.
Okay. So you have the energy
in the morning. Yeah.
See,
I haven't had it in a while. I feel like it's just kind of been dragging, but
see, I do have energy in the morning, and I got to say on the weekends it has to be in the morning. If it's like already 10 o'clock, it's too late for me to exercise on the weekends.
Oh, okay. I see.
But for some reason, I feel the opposite during the weekday. Maybe because like when I get up, it's like I brush my teeth and wash my face and I'm straight into work since I work from home. So I don't have a lot of time before that. And I do feel that maybe because it's winter that I'm waking up with the sun. So anything before that is too early for me. Like I won't do anything before that. And maybe afterwards, after work, I feel a little bit more energized because like the day's over. Like the hard part of my day's over, you know? Everything after that is just up to me.
No.
So
to me, I'm already done. At the end of the day, I just want to go relax, maybe have a tea.
Okay, wait.
Grandma.
Talk about señora activities. No, I'm glad you brought that up because there was something that I wanted to bring up about. Oh, okay. So after this, like, I really want to go buy a candle for my house because this is super señora activity. Because this week, like, it was raining, you know, and I had my house clean. It's not that clean now, but, like, it was clean. It was nice. It was raining. I lit a candle, and I started reading, like, one of my books that I was, like, aiming to read this week. And it was just the most serene, peaceful time for me. And I think the candle did it. Like, I kept looking at it like, thank you.
Ay, brujería.
No.
Just kidding. No, it is. It really changes the atmosphere. You
the ambiance.
Yes. Yeah. You kind of like, I don't know, you feel like a certain way.
Yeah. And then I had my mom visit, and she was like, oh my God, it smells great in here. Like, are you cooking? It was like a cinnamon candle, which I usually hate cinnamon scents. Like, I will stay away from them. It's too Christmassy for me. And, like, the only Christmas smell that I like is Christmas tree, you know? So
Pine tree?
Yeah, like I have bought candles
That's
that
weird.
smell like pine before, because it's so good. Like I love
pine
it.
salt? Do you like cleaning with pine salt?
I love cleaning with pine salt.
Wow,
Yes,
okay.
and I love like
I'm more
like
of a
very
citrus.
piney beer too, like IPAs.
Piney beer.
Yeah, like Pliny the Elder to me is like, but it tastes like tree.
No. I'll pass on that.
But she came in and she's like, it smells great in here, and I was like, it just got me thinking, like, I would love for when people visit that, like, I have a signature smell to my house.
A signature smell, okay.
So
pine salt.
no. I mean, if I had just cleaned, I have no problem with my house stinking of pine salt. Yes. But, like, no, like a scent. Like, go get a candle that, like,
okay.
you know?
What kind of, so woodsy.
No.
It has to be pine.
No. I'm saying that, like, the only Christmas smells that I like
general,
is
the pine one.
Is pine.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't want my house smelling like that year round.
So what kind of scents do you like?
I am more like on the sweeter side of things.
Okay.
My favorite candle is the black cherry merlot. You know, it has like a undertone of earthiness still. Okay. You know, but there is like a lot of fruit sweetness to it. It's fruits for me because like citrus. I love citrus smells. Freshness, like anything that smells fresh. Not powdery though, not soapy. Just fresh, like a sea breeze or something. You know. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I have to go find a signature candle after this and do my senora activity.
Wow. Okay, I like it.
What about you?
I like it though.
How's it been for you?
It's been going pretty good. I just feel like that. I gotta get back into my routine, and yeah. Another thing I've been thinking about though is Women's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That's what I've been thinking about.
Speaking about senoras.
Yeah. So. I actually was thinking about like how this podcast in general is gonna be kind of something like our future legacy is gonna look back at and kind of remember us by, and I was like, oh, so thank you for bringing me it. Yeah. I was thinking like, damn, okay, so this is kind of like I was always into thinking about maybe writing a book or something, but I'm like, no.
Me too.
Really?
I just started.
That's so weird. But yeah, so this is part of it.
I never thought of it in that way, where like this is gonna be something that we do leave out in the media world, in the internet world, for everybody to see, you know. And I hope now that you say that, like that we are hopefully setting a good example towards women, or you know, girls that will later become women, to follow their dreams. Like this was something that Marisol had expressed to me. She was interested in doing. You know, we had a rough time starting out because there was, you know, time constraints and things like that. But I feel like you've pushed through on your end anyways to make sure that we're doing this. Like, this is something that we wanted to do, you know?
It is.
And we're 6 weeks in strong, so you got to be proud of yourself for that, too, you know?
Pat in the back.
Follow your dreams. And we're seeing where this is going. Like, we're in this for the long haul. So, again, we need your support. Not just women, but all of you men out there, too. Like, this is a place
that love women, you know.
Yeah. That love women, respect women. But this is a place where everybody could just come together and like talk about their day and talk about what's going on in the world and just vent out whatever it is that's boggling your mind. So we thank you guys for that. We thank you women for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope that you support us. Women supporting women.
There is actually, I don't know how like how factual it is, but it was on social media. That's why it came up to my mind because I guess there was a group of women back in the day, like 1930s, that during like the whole tuberculosis crisis, that there were black women, black nurses, that went into this hospital that nobody wanted to work at to like help out the sick. And so like a lot of the people are saying like those women like went unnoticed, that they kind of just were lost in the books. And that's why it made me start to think about this. It's like, what am I gonna leave? Like, you know, something like that sounds like, oh, That was beautiful, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that throughout time. Women of color, especially, have been thrown to the sidelines, and everything that they've done kind of gets overlooked because of racial, societal, bullshit. But this is a good time to be able to bring forth some of those stories and
any story. I think everyone has a good story that they could share, and people are willing to listen if they want to.
That's true. That's true. One thing that I remember is, like, we were at Barnes and Noble, I think it was you and me, and we saw this book, or I saw it and then I talked to you about it and you had seen it too, something like that, where like you can buy this book and it's like for your grandma or your mother, and they can write their story on there, and I think that's so beautiful.
I actually tried to do that with my grandma, like, and she did leave me like a couple pages written, but I only received a couple pages. I don't know who has the rest out there, but it was so cute. Like, actually the other day I was looking through my stuff and I found the little envelope of pages, and I was reading through it and I was like, no, why? And I shed a little tear, but it was cute. I like going back to that, and like she's like, este libro es para recordar toda mi historia, or something like that. I was like, oh no. I know, I shed a little tear. It was cute.
You know what? No, that has to be thrown into the bowl. I'm gonna go grab our bowl so we can write it in, because maybe we could have a day where, and we've discussed this before, having our mothers come onto the show and just telling us about themselves, what they've done, something that they want to share. I've talked about it in recent podcasts where, like, me and my mom are just now, I think, starting to build a relationship that doesn't consist of yelling and teenage fighting. So I'd be interested to know more about, like, who she is and, like, what she wants to share with me, with you, with everyone,
Yeah, that'll be beautiful, but let's see if they're willing to do it.
Let me grab the bowl. And from now on, I'm just going to keep our bowl handy, because we always come up with ideas while we're doing the podcast. So, mother's stories. And my mom doesn't drink, but she'll drink a margarita, so she might be down. Okay. So, speaking of International Women's Day, I've been reading a book called Wayward by Amelia Hart, and I love this story so far. So I'm almost done with it. I wanted to wait until the weekend to, like, finish it. I don't know, something about finishing it during the week wasn't right. I'm weird like that, weird OCD. What's it called? But basically the story is about, it's like a cross-generational fiction about 3 women from the same family, obviously across time, and it is a little witchy, which kind of segues into what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into that, I love it so far because it is very much about women empowering women, even through generations. So the fact that you said this about the podcast, like your legacy that you're going to leave, the story definitely contains a female character that left her legacy. And it's not like she did something so amazing that, generations from now are going to be benefited by money and this and that. No, it's just her strength during, like, a very hard time in her life that she is passing on to the next generations. And she did this actually by writing a letter to people, not necessarily to her future daughter or thereafter, but just to people. She wanted to leave something for somebody so that people knew that she existed.
Okay.
And all she did was write her story in a letter. And that was passed down to what I'm guessing is her daughter. I think that's going to be part of the end. It hasn't said that she had a daughter yet. But she definitely has other female relatives that have inherited her letter, and for generations now, and their own struggles are happening during the course of this book, and they're reading the letters during those struggles, and it's giving them strength, and it's giving them power to take back their life. It does it in a very whimsical way, but the main point of it, I think, is there, which is we as women have a lot of wisdom. We have a lot of strength, things that we take for granted sometimes, you know, that we don't know have value to other people.
Yeah.
Especially during their hard times. Things like kindness, for example. Things like strength. Things like vulnerability. Like, these are all things that we could be passing on that have some sort of power to them and could potentially make somebody else's life better. Yeah. You know? Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up since we're on this whole topic.
Cool. Nice, interesting book you have there.
Yeah, and I'm almost done with it. So if you want to read it after, I'll be glad to let you borrow it. I have like 20 pages left to go.
I have like 3 books that I'm reading at once. It's so hard.
I can't do that.
Oh,
it has to be one.
You know what? I need to figure something out because I feel like I never finish my books. I'm always like jumping from one and then another and another. Yeah. Right now it's 3, but anyways, we'll talk about that later.
All right. So last week we did something a little different. At the end of our episode, we pulled the 2 topics that we would be talking about today. And so, do you want to tell people what those were again?
Yeah. We're going to do supernatural stories.
Woo! Have a lot of these stories. Mucho.
Yes, it's some crazy stuff out in the world and beyond.
It's nowhere near Halloween, but I don't think there is ever a bad time to tell a good ghost story.
I know. There's just too many. And I feel like a lot of people have very similar stories that, like, you kind of, like, wonder, like, something has to be real. Like, why do people have these, like, encounters or these kind of stories where they're just so similar.
That was going to be the base of another podcast Marisol and I were discussing about starting, about why everyone has these weird, spooky, supernatural tales, but nobody believes them. But everybody has an experience about it. So, I don't know. I feel like this is universal topic, and I feel like maybe we'll do more episodes based on, you know, who reaches out and wants to tell their stories. But I guess we'll start with ours first.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Sure. No, you sure.
Mine are scary.
Yeah, well, I like scary.
Okay. Once upon a time. No. This is a true story that happened to me in Mexico. I went to go visit my man's family for the first time ever. They live in Cuernavaca. And he had told me that, like, as a kid, when he lived there, he experienced very scary things. And the reason for that, he thought, was because when they were building this structure out there, like while you're building, unless you're putting up a fence, like, it's fully exposed to the elements, fully exposed. Anybody could walk in and out as, you know, the bones of your building are being built, right? So, like, they had the foundation set, but there was no walls yet, or not all of the walls were complete. And he believed that people there, I mean, it's known that people there practice a lot of witchcraft, like, in that town, in that state. I'm not kidding you. When I first went, we were, like, driving towards the house, and I noticed that there was, like, weird flower things at every gate. Like, almost every gate, like, every other gate had these flowers, dried flowers tied to them. And I was like, that's so weird. Why do people do that, you know? Didn't say anything that night. And then later on, getting drunk with his dad, and I was like, what's up with the flowers? Like, I noticed on the way here, everybody has flowers. Did somebody die recently? It's like somebody that, like, the whole pueblo loved, you know? And he was like, no, that's a protection. I forgot what kind. It's like a certain plant that they all had. And he's like, that plant is used for protection against evil and spells and witchcraft. So I was like, oh shit. Like, so either everybody here believes in it, or, like, practices it, or knows something weird's happening in this town, you know? For every, like, I'm not kidding you, every other gate almost. I want to say more than every other gate. Let's say 75% of the gates had them, right? Theirs did not. Okay. And
what?
so
Why?
I guess, well, his mom is very religious.
Oh, okay.
So in the religious world, we're Catholic. We're not supposed to pay attention to that either. We're not supposed to pay mind to that. We're supposed to pray. If we're scared, if we feel like something is following us, if we feel like somebody is cursing us, if we feel whatever, we're supposed to pray. We're not supposed to give it more power by indulging in more magical practices to help combat it, right? You don't fight fire with fire, you fight fire with water, basically. So I think his mom was the same. Like she believed in Jesus. She's a Jesus-fearing woman, and that's where her faith was, right? Mm-hmm. So they didn't have it. So the stories he would tell me were that, you know, he believes that cults would come in or people would come in to practice witchcraft while that structure was being built.
Their house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They found, you know, burnt little ashes of maybe a bonfire, things like that. Just weird stuff that, it's just weird. I don't want to say that it's associated with witchcraft because I don't know what witchcraft entails. But they found pentagons, you know, on the floor. They found stuff like that. So things that people associate with witchcraft were also found. So he would tell me that as a kid, his room had no windows. So it was a dark room, and he could see a dark silhouette figure like floating around his room after he closed his door at night. And that at times he felt as if something would sit at the edge of its bed. Right? And so his escape from that wasn't to pray. It was to put on earphones and listen to punk music really, really loud. And then he would just get angry whenever that thing would try to scare him, right?
Yeah.
So
wow, okay.
That was his way of escaping. But he did warn me about this before I went for the first time. He's like, I'm just letting you know, like, that house is haunted. So me being Catholic, I'm like, well, I'm taking my rosary. Like, I don't care. And I did. I wore it almost the whole time there. One night, we had like a mini party. A bunch of his family came to see him. He hadn't been back for like 10 years. So like they came out. And he stayed outside with his family, and it was late for me, so I decided to go to sleep. So I went inside the room, took off my rosary, and I only took it off because the links were very fragile. They had already kind of like tore before I got there a little bit, so I fixed it myself, but I was afraid that if I slept with it, it was gonna like fully
you're gonna tug on it.
Yeah, that it was gonna just fall apart. So I took it off. And I went to sleep. I felt him come into the room, like, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, you know, went back to bed, whatever. But then right around daybreak, I don't know exactly what time it is. I don't know what time it gets light out there, but the room that we were staying in wasn't his old room. It did have a window. So I could see from the window that there was blue light, like daybreak was just starting.
Yeah.
So I want to say maybe 5 o'clock. I don't know, around that time. And I remember just like opening my eyes just a little bit, enough that I saw that light from the window. And then I started hearing like whispers, like I couldn't make out what they were saying. I just remember in different like volumes. And it felt like they were coming from different places in the room. Like the door, and then over here by me, and then on this side of the bed, and then over here, like it was just everywhere. And at that moment I got curious and I wanted to get up. That's when I realized I couldn't move. And I was like, what in the world? And I was trying so hard. I was like, I must be asleep. If I'm asleep, then I need to wake up right now. And I couldn't wake up, right? I couldn't wake up. But I was like vividly seeing the room. I could see from my peripheral, he was sleeping next to me. And so I'm like trying with all my might, I'm able to move my pinky. Just my pinky. And I'm over here like trying to scratch him because his hand was like right next to mine. I'm trying to scratch him to wake up. I'm trying to move him around, and he won't wake up. And those whispers start getting louder and louder. Like weird, right? And all out of nowhere, they stopped. But I felt this heavy, heavy, heavy presence walk into the room or enter the room.
Ooh.
And I knew something is in this room right now. Like something in this. And I'm sleeping, right? I'm on the bed. I'm like this, and the door's over here. I'm like, I don't see anything.
Yeah.
But I almost feel the energy walking towards my side of the bed.
Ooh.
You know? And I was like, no, like, what is this? Like, you're not allowed. In my head, I'm like, you're not allowed in this house. You're not allowed near me. Like, get away. I start, like, trying to fight it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, mentally, because I can't move my mouth. I can't say anything. And it goes to this side of the bed where I'm at. And I'm like this, but then I'm like, what is this? And I remember just, like, being able to move my head very hardly, just, like, to the point that I'm staring at the wall. There's nothing there. And I'm like, what the heck? And out of nowhere, something goes and turns my head to the other side. Like it didn't want me to look at it, right? It didn't want me looking in its direction. At that point, I start praying in my head. And actually, I start singing like hymns in my head. Like I don't know, like when things like this happen, my first instinct is sing a hymn, like sing a godly hymn. It's not even a prayer. It's just like,
I mean, it is a prayer.
Yeah. Like that's what I started singing. And the voices came back. Loud, like almost trying to drown my singing out in my own head. And I just kept going louder and louder, like, Dios está aquí, you know? And then finally they're like, fuck! And it stopped. And that's when I was able to like move. And that's the weird part. Like when I was able to move, I didn't like wake up. I didn't like feel like I woke up and that was a dream. I was released. I was like, and I was like, hey, wake up. This shit just happened. He's like, that just happened right now. I'm like, yes, I was trying to scratch you.
Crazy. He was like, okay, I warned you. What did he say?
No, he told me. He's like, I told you there was like some crazy shit here.
Whoa.
We ended up telling his mom the next morning. She was like, nah. She didn't believe it. But again, like, I think she's just not trying to pour energy into that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
She lives there. Like, I don't blame her. I would be the same, like, no. You know? But I can't forget that experience just because when I woke up, like, I still saw that blue light outside. Like, it was the same time that I saw in If I Did Dream This in the Dream. Like, I don't remember waking up. I just remember being able to finally move, you know? Like, that's the part that gets me. Like, I don't think I dreamt this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's... Whew, that's kind of spooky.
I think that is the closest encounter to anything, like, supernatural, spooky like that I've ever come across. I've seen a lot of stuff. Yeah. But that, like, it touched me. It was there. I felt the energy, like...
Yeah, no, that's so scary. I don't know. I'd probably be crying after that.
I prayed. And after that, I didn't care if my rosary came off. I put it around my wrist after that, actually, and I just, like, gripped it, like, for, like, the next 3 days. Fun fact, after that, I got very sick. About, I want to say, like, it was about a month. So I got sick there while I was in Mexico. Like, my stomach was just so bad, which happens, you know, like, but I found it weird that it didn't happen right away. It happened only after that, and we had been there, like, maybe 4 days already, you know, so I don't know if it was in response to what I had experienced, but I was sick for about a month after that.
That's intense. Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. You know what? No, I think I probably would have done the same thing. Only because I know, you know, based on our background, you know, our religion background, I tend to do that randomly, and I'm like, am I going crazy? I'll just start like praying in random places in my head. Mm-hmm. And it's usually because of that. I feel like
you
a
feel
certain way.
there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like instinct.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
I found it like cool because not the whole experience, but my reaction.
Yeah.
Because I'm a scaredy cat. Like, I'm a fucking scaredy cat. And I always thought that if I ever experienced something like that, I would just like crumble and like fall, you know?
Yeah.
But I was proud of myself. Like, I didn't know exactly what to do, but I knew like the general direction of where I needed to take this, and like I got angry and combative, and I was like, no, you're not allowed here, leave.
Whoa. Yeah, no, that's pretty intense. Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you
for defeating the dark arts.
First demon defeated.
Demon Slayer over here.
Demon Slayer. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
But I have to say, I feel like not just our family. I'm sure a lot of people out there have this, but I feel personally that a lot of people in our family are protected, very much so. Like, yeah, bad things happen to us. You know, we go through tough times. I'm not saying like nothing ever happens, but I'm saying generally when I feel energy like that from people that I feel are bad people that want to do harm to others,
bad stuff, yeah.
I feel like they either like get away from me or they something ends up happening to them. And I've heard that when people like that want to do bad and evil try to hurt people, if those people are protected, then that thing will happen to them instead. And sometimes it's like 3 times worse.
Ooh.
You know? And I've heard stuff like that. So there was this one time where I was like exploring my spirituality, I guess. And I felt like there was ugliness in my house. I felt like there was something here. So I was like, all right, well, I've tried everything except what I should do, which is get holy water and bless my house. I'm going to go to like what are they called? Botanicas. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get candles and I'm going to get like something to cleanse the space, right? I went to 3 places. 3. Okay. The first one I called, somebody answered, they said that they were open. Okay. It's down the street from me. Mm-hmm. I drive over there. I go, it's locked up. I'm like, maybe they need like one-on-one, you know, like you need a knock or something. I'm over there knocking. Nobody answered. And I was like, I just called them. Like, what the heck? I go back in my car. I'm looking for another one because there's another one up the street. But I called that same place back and they answered. They're like, yeah, we're open. I'm like, I just knocked. And they're like, oh, no, I didn't hear no knocking. We have the door open.
What?
I found that really strange. I'm like, am I in the right place? And I even told them, this is your address, right? Yep.
What?
So I was like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I'm already up the street at this other one. And again, locked door. It says open. Like they had a little sign that actually flashed open. And I'm like, this is freaking weird. Like, hello?
Yeah.
Nobody came out. And that one's even smaller. Like there's like a back room, I guess, to it. And they have shelving in the front with like all of their candles and stuff. Nobody came out. I was there for like 10 minutes to see if somebody walked in there. Nobody. And then there was another one. That one was open. I go in. And the guy, like, the second he saw me, because he was in the back too, he comes out to the front and he was like, can I help you with something? And I was like, oh, hello. Yeah, I was looking to see if you had, like, this and that, you know. And he's like, no, we don't have none of that here.
What?
I was like, you don't have that, but you're, like, a botanica? Like, and he's like, yeah. And he's like, if you're looking, like, to cleanse something, we could talk about cleansing you, but like you'd have to come back some other time.
What?
Very like weird and like get out of here. Like I'm not ready for you kind of energy, you know? Okay. I took it as a sign. I was like, I'm not supposed to be coming to these places. Like, I'm not supposed to be, like, communicating with these people. Not that I have anything against them, but I do believe that, like, our ancestors carry energy, and we carry their energy, you know? And our lineage is very much Catholic, and we're not supposed to be in those kinds of places if you're Catholic. And I do believe that those were people looking after me.
Maybe. That's crazy. Though,
yeah. What about you? What have you experienced?
Crazy supernatural stories. Where do I begin? There's too many.
At the beginning.
In the beginning, there was... You know what? When I was younger, I had an obsession with cemeteries. I just thought they were, like, the most beautiful things ever.
I still do.
And, like, you know what? Yeah, they're beautiful, but, like, I feel like somewhere, like, in my memory, I remember the cemeteries would always be, like, full. Like, I remember there was always people there. And so I'm like, I don't know if I was seeing, like, ghosts or something, but I remember that. And I was like, oh, it's so pretty. Like, I would tell my mom, and she's like, ¿Qué? Like, eso, la gente. I'm like, I remember that now.
La gente? What would she say?
Like, ¿cuál gente? Yeah,
So
I don't know.
were seeing
Maybe. Now that I go back and think about maybe. Who knows? But I know. Now I get it. You know, that's where people lay and rest. So their spirits are probably there, but I don't see anything like that anymore. At least not in, like, in broad daylight.
But do you feel that same energy? Like, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I did too.
It's a nice space.
And maybe that's what it is. Like, finally people are, like, at peace, you know, and that's something, if you're drawn to energy, you can pick up on.
Certain ones. Certain cemeteries.
You've seen some that are not like that?
Yeah, certain cemeteries they don't feel that great.
Which ones?
There's one in Hollywood that is, like, kind of weird.
It's not the big Hollywood one, right?
Maybe.
For Hollywood Forever?
I think it is that one. That one feels a little weird.
Well, there's a lot of people that are buried there
for,
that died before their time.
For a festival when Zion was really small. He was maybe, like, a couple months old. Yeah, that one it was nice. It was actually like a Dia de los Muertos festival. But, yeah, that one kind of feel weird.
I mean, that one's centuries old. There's people buried there from many, many, many years ago. And a lot of the starlets and stars, you know, that were killed and murdered in Hollywood or laid to rest there. So I'm sure that there's a lot of sad energy, like energy that is residual because people that weren't supposed to die yet died, you know? So that would make sense.
Yeah. Hollywood Forever. Yeah, that's what it was.
And there's a lot of weird stories that have happened in Hollywood. We know that. Hollywood isn't known for normal people. Yeah. So I believe it. Even the statuettes there, what do you call them? The gravestones and stuff, like, a lot of them are very creepy. They have, like, the big mausoleum ones too.
We actually went through that one. They had, like, a little, I don't know if it was some sort of art display going on around that time, and yeah, it was kind of weird.
It's like the old school horror.
I kind of want to go back just to kind of see it, like, regular daytime type of thing, because this was at night and there was just a lot, like, lights and, you know, flashy stuff going on, but just to kind of see what I really felt.
I've been there during the day, and there's still, like,
it
feels weird. Well, we went there. I, like, already was feeling weird about the reason why we went there. Anyway,
why'd you guys go?
So I had a couple friends that they, like, vend stuff, you know, and they thought it was a cool idea to go and do a grave rubbing. Have you heard of that?
No, what is that?
It's actually illegal in a lot of parts, and I think it's illegal in California too, but I didn't know at the time. Where you take a fabric, and it's, like, usually, like, silk that you use, a light colored silk, and you drape it over a gravestone that you like. You take chalk and you just rub it against the silk, and so it imprints whatever grave stone you've put it on top of. And so it's called grave rubbing. And people sell these as banners to put in their houses, decorations and stuff like that.
Whoa, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's very morbid, I feel, you know. Because you don't know that person's story.
Yeah, unless you know the person, okay, maybe, you know.
And, like, they've outlawed it in many states and countries because usually people go and do that with famous people. And so the gravestones eventually start wearing down a little bit, you know. Not, like, a lot, but, like, if more people do it, you know, there is going to be substantial damage. So they've outlawed this already. But I don't know, they found some gravestones. They found it very pretty, and they started outlining it, and it felt wrong. I definitely stayed away. I like was hanging out by some other dead people with my other friend, and we were eating like fucking Lunchable while they rubbed on graves.
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, it's scary. I don't see the alert to that because I know that people carry energy, spirits carry energy. You never know what you're bringing home by doing that. So,
speaking of that, I have a story to tell about the carrying energy thing. So, a while back, I think I did mention this to you. When you first had gotten... no, it wasn't even, like, new, this place. And I told you, I even asked you, I was like, oh, have you, like, blessed the house or something? And I told you, have you blessed the space? And you said, oh, yeah, my grandma did. So I was like, okay, cool. And then, I don't know if it was, like, a month after or something, I was sitting on your couch, and then I was looking into, like, the room at the corner, and I saw something, like... No, it wasn't even me looking into it. I was kind of, like, peripheral vision, and I saw something, like, go in there. And I'm all, did someone... And I asked you or something, did someone in... Like, no. And I'm like, okay. And so when that happened, you said no. Then I started saying, like, you don't belong here. Like, you have to leave. That's when I started saying that. And then I started saying something like, I don't know if it was a prayer or something. But then that night, I was at my house, and I think I was about to go to sleep, and then I saw, like, this weird, smoky kind of figure thing above me. And it looked almost like I can't even describe it. It's like it was like dark, smoky thing, kind of like a cluster of things, right? Like going like that. And then I was like, shit. So I started praying, right? And I couldn't move. And I even was like trying to, like, I do remember like saying something to Jose, my husband. I was like, hey. Like, he didn't wake up. I hit him. He didn't get up. Like, I probably, like, just my hand and nothing. I couldn't get up. So I just started, like, praying. I remember that. And I'm like, nope. And I said, you don't belong here. Whatever you are, like, go back where you came from. Like, that's what I said. I remember that. And then, like, after a good, like, 2-3 minutes, I didn't see it anymore. And I think I fell back asleep.
Okay, so you sent it back to my house?
No, maybe. You know what? I think that's when you told me
that I felt something here.
Yeah, and then that's when...
So, let me tell you a weird story, because before you told me that, I thought what I saw was a little white figure in that room that you said. That's why, like, when you told me that, I was, like, kind of like, oh, fuck, you know? Like, a little, like, I couldn't even see it either. Like, you said that you saw it running. I saw it, like, kind of...
peeking.
Yeah. Peek, and then, like, oh, shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then after, like, months after, I want to say, but this was still around the same time that, like, we had just moved in. I had a friend here, and she brought a friend, and that girl was like, dude, you have a little girl ghost in your house. And I was like, no, I don't. Shut up. And all of this had already happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And she's like, okay, yeah, no, fine. It's like, she could tell, like, I was freaked out. And she's like, I'm sorry. It's just like, I thought I saw something right now. And I was like, what did you see? And she was sitting right there, so she could see into the room. And she's like, I swear I just saw a little girl, like, staring at me from that room. And I freaked out. I got the house blessed again.
Whoa.
I got the house blessed again. And then years later, my boyfriend also said, like, I think that maybe you dragged something into this house. One day he told me that. And he's like, I don't know if it's like the energy at the time that we were experiencing, but he was like, I feel like there's something in this house. And so we had a time when like we split up, and that's when I asked you. That's when actually I went to go look at like these places that I said, and like I couldn't get anybody. And then finally, like a couple weeks later is when I asked you. I was like, I feel like I need to like cleanse this like space. Like I need to cleanse myself. I need to like cleanse whatever's attached. Like I feel like there's something evil like causing a lot of heartache right now here. And Marisol came over, and we blessed ourselves, and we blessed the house with holy water, and we did prayers on every window and every door. And since then, it's so crazy when people have come over, have told me like, this place feels different. Like it feels light and bright in here, without me telling them like what happened. And I feel it too. Like I'm like alone in the house now, and I feel at peace. You know, there's times when I watch something scary that I'm like, you're not allowed here, leave. You know, but then like nothing happens to that same degree anymore.
You know what? And I think the time that I did see that, I was like more afraid because I had my baby at the time. He was small, and I was like, nope. I don't remember. I had someone with me, but I was like, nope. I'm like, you need to get away. You know, you're not. I was like, hell no. And then I probably dragged it with me, but who knows? I have felt it. I have seen that again. Not here. And like around me, like when I'm about to go to sleep. So who knows? Who knows? It's not like it wasn't like that where I couldn't move type of thing, but I have seen it again.
So I'm going to freak you out even more.
What?
Because after that Mexico experience, I was having a lot of nightmares. Those for sure were nightmares of me having sleep paralysis. Okay. But they were different in the fact that I couldn't move, but then I started to try and pray again. And this time, like in my nightmare, something would grab me, some invisible force would grab me and start slinging me all over, hitting walls, hitting like causing a ruckus.
In your dream?
In my dream. Like it would use me to like be banging up against stuff, you know?
Okay.
And I haven't had that in forever. So
that's good.
But I don't know if that was part of that same energy.
Maybe.
That like had to leave, you know? Because I haven't had a sleep paralysis dream in a very long time.
That's good. That's really good.
And I used to be a very vivid dreamer. Like my dreams almost look like movies to me. Like I would remember like keeping a journal when I was younger and like writing down stuff because I was like, I should make this into a movie. You know? But lately, it's very rare that I remember my dreams.
Wow.
So I don't know if part of that has left. That was all part of that same bad energy that like I was carrying around. I don't know.
We'll see.
No clue.
We'll see.
No clue. Supernatural things.
Yeah, no, there's too many, dude. Like I feel like I can go on, but tying in with like spirits and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what that is. What is it? What do you think that is? Is it ghosts? Is it Is it...
I am a firm believer that if there's good, there's bad, right?
Yeah.
If there's one thing, there's an opposite thing. I do believe that obviously we all are souls, you know, and our bodies are just vessels. But when that vessel fades away, our soul doesn't necessarily go with it. You know, as a Catholic, I believe we go to either heaven or hell or purgatory. And honestly, I feel like purgatory is here. You know, even in our living life, I do believe that like we're put here to decide whether we're good or we're bad.
Where we're gonna go.
What choices we make decide where we're gonna go. So I feel like this is purgatory, and the souls that are left in purgatory stay here. You know, and I mean, like I said, I've felt energies myself, you know, I've felt things. I haven't mistaken stuff. I've seen things. That's a story for another time. But like, I do believe that these were people, but just like there's people here, I do believe that there's also spirits that are good, angels maybe, you know.
Ooh.
There's also spirits that are bad, demons, you know, and they roam around because I don't know the rules about where they can go or not, you know.
That's crazy.
But I know that I've experienced, I feel, a bit of both. Or all three, I should say, you know. You can tell the energies, the difference.
Speaking of angels, I think I've actually encountered one once. And it's not what you think it looks like. It's scary AF. It's spooky, dude. Like, oh my gosh. So I thought when I would see like these things, like it's usually right when I'm about to fall asleep or like I'm in some sort of like meditative state. And this one time I was just like praying, or you know, that's what I call it, praying, meditate. No, that's what it is. And like as I was falling asleep, boom, I like see this thing, right? And it's freaking me out because of how it looks. It looks creepy as hell. But I didn't feel like it was a threat to me. It was just kind of like I was at peace. I was like the most peaceful feeling, but I was like the scariest thing to look at. It was, okay, so let me describe it. It was like a ball of fire with eyes and feathers and rings. Yeah, dude. So I was like, this is a fucking demon. I'm gonna like die right now or something. Like, yeah, it was so creepy. And I don't know. It sounded like I couldn't tell like if it was trying to communicate with me or anything. Like, I felt at peace. I was like looking at it. I felt like at peace, but I didn't know. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. That's the thing. That's why I was scared.
So it was like fear of the unknown.
Yeah, that was what it was. I didn't feel that it was like a threat at all. I just didn't like looking at it. It was just creepy. It was creepy. And so I went on like the internet later, like the next day. I was like, what the hell was that? What, you know, like I was like, demons. Like that was my first thought. Like weird, like no, what did I look at? Mystical creatures. I don't know. And I was describing things, and that's what popped out. It was like an angel or something like that, and I'm like, oh,
because that's a seraphim, right? Or that's a throne.
It was called a throne.
A throne angel.
It was throne.
There's 7 different kinds of angels. If you guys don't know, and you guys should look them up because they do look kind of scary.
It was scary as all, dude. I was afraid. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? No, yeah, but I think that's what it was. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why, what is this? And then I just fell asleep.
That's so funny that you like associated it with like demonology though.
Because you think, right? Like, how do they picture him? Like, all beautiful.
Like cherubs.
And, like, a
like
person.
Little baby. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, a beautiful person. I don't
think, like, despite us being, like, Catholic all of our lives, I don't think anybody has ever described an angel to us.
No.
Besides, like, how you said, like,
just
they
like
come
the
down with
pictures
feathers.
You've seen, right?
Yeah,
no.
And there's a light. And nobody has ever said
so
it's a
scary
20 ring thing with eyes and, yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
It had fire. It had a ring. It had,
fire
like, these rings. It had, like, a bunch of eyes.
Fire's just usually associated with other things too, so like I could see that, you know.
It was bad. It was scary.
I dreamt a seraphim once, but not like a real one. Like somebody was drawing it on a wall,
okay.
And it freaked me out too. Like I didn't know what I was looking at. I thought it was a bad thing, but even to this day, that dream leaves me a little bit confused because I know now it was a seraphim. Mm-hmm. And this person was drawing it, but they were drawing it in connection with like where they are in their life, and I didn't think that they were in a good place at their life then. So I'm still kind of like, what the heck, you know? But it made me feel like this person is calling out for help but can't.
Oh,
you know?
Wow.
Can't say anything or something. But yeah, I don't know. Like ideology. I mean, like pictures, right? Like images of things that we think are supposed to look a certain way and then don't. Like I think I think it's a mistake for people not to talk about these things for that reason, you know?
Yeah.
How are we supposed to know or associate what is good or bad or whatever?
Yeah.
Take symbols for what they are and not mistake them for something else if nobody talks about these things.
Exactly. No, that was intense. That dream was whatever it was. I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I remember telling, you know what? No, I remember telling my mom about it. And she's like, "Ay, un demonio." And at the time she was talking to my aunt from Mexico. And I didn't know she was like super devout to like angels. She loves angels. She likes like, I don't know, she just likes these, she likes talking about angels.
Some angels are also saints. And
Yeah.
so people pray. You know how some people have their saints that they pray to?
She's like devout to, I think,
San Miguel Arcángel.
San Miguel, Yeah, and so she even said, she was like, "Oh, viste un ángel," or something like that.
This is how he's portrayed.
Yeah, so I don't know what, and that's when I was like, okay, that's when I looked it up, I think. That's when I was like, oh, what, like, real angels or so. I don't know what the heck I looked up. And that's when I saw something similar. I was like, oh, that's what it was. It was.
I keep him there because he's supposed to be the protector against evil. He is an archangel, actually. He's like the leader of the heavenly militia. And so when I got that, it was around the same time we were blessing this house for that reason. We had just blessed it, and I was like, if anything is following me, it's not allowed in this house. And I have San Miguel Arcángel here now to defend against it.
Well, I was.
You know, and there is a lot of people that pray to them, to the different ones. I think there's like 5 archangels, I want to say, maybe 7, I'm not sure. And they're all for different things too. And I've heard stories. I thought it was you that told me that your aunt was in a bus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, tell that story, because that's like...
So someone came on to the bus that was trying to rob the bus, right? And I don't know if it was her, that she just started praying. I'm not sure if it was the San Miguel Arcángel.
I think you told me it was.
Okay, so she prayed to something. I don't know if it was Jesus or the Angel. And, like, basically they were going down the aisles, and they're like, and that one of the person that was going to rob him, like, he looked at her, and then he told everyone, he's like, no, aquí no es, vámonos. And then, like, they all just took off, and, like, she just looked at him, like, and boom, they took off.
I'm telling you that I feel like protection scares people with evil intentions away.
Yeah, that's nuts, huh?
I swear that it does.
Yeah,
like,
I can't remember. It might have been him. It might have been San Miguel.
I think it was because I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
And something about that stayed in my mind, and that's why I got that.
I gotta make sure she tells me the story, because I want to get all the details again. I don't really recall all of this story, but it was something around those lines, where the guy was like walking towards her, and she was about to, and she just looked up, like she was praying, and then she looked up at him, and that's when he said, "Nope. Get out of here." Like, what the hell?
Yeah, because I think you told me she had just finished the prayer. There's a certain prayer for him too. She just finished it, and that's when that happened.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know either.
I'll get back to you again. I want to hear that story again.
I don't know, man. There's so many things. I mean, spirituality, or I should say like the spirit world, is not just bad things. There's good things, you know. There's God. God is spiritual, I feel. And even then, like,
but what do you feel about people that don't believe in God?
I don't, that's a good question. I'm not judgmental like that. Like, if you don't believe in anything, that is your right.
Yeah.
By all means, that is your right. I'm not here to convert anyone either. I'm not here to push my beliefs on other people. Believe what you want, or don't believe in anything, whatever. I think spirituality has to come from your heart.
Yeah.
If you truly are not into it, don't believe it, then it's good benefits, it's bad benefits. All of that is not going to affect you.
Yeah.
Because you don't believe in it. It's energy. I feel you're putting energy into something. You can call it hope. You can call it whatever you want to, faith, whatever. But when you put energy into something, that's when things come alive.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm putting energy into my prayers and going to church and this and that, I feel like God is going to hear me. Mm-hmm. Other things might also like appear, but like there's energy there because I believe in both good and bad.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, not that bad things don't happen to you or good things don't happen to you, but I feel like you obviously are looking at it through a different lens.
Yeah.
So good things are going to happen because of A, B, and C rather than some divine intervention,
Yep.
I think that those people also experience some stuff that maybe make them question things. I was watching a show on HBO in preparation for this called Caught on Camera Paranormal Activities. And a lot of the people that film or record for these paranormal shows usually are skeptics, or they don't believe. Because who in their right mind, if you believe in ghosts, would go and volunteer to become the camera person for somebody that's trying to hunt ghosts? Like, doesn't make sense.
Nah.
So most of these people don't believe in anything, and they've experienced stuff themselves being around them. Because I feel that they're around the energy that is being put into these things, and they've even said like, oh yeah, it made me think for a second,
Yeah.
To them, a reasonable person that thinks A, B, and C, this happens because A, B, and C, can still have doubts because there's energy that they're not familiar with going into these things.
How I see it, it's more like scientists live this every day. It's like they're trying to figure out everything, like, and they yet to have like all the answers. They're still trying to figure out the world and like the universe and everything, how everything comes together, and it's like maybe eventually they're gonna find these things out, but it's gonna take, maybe not in our lifetime.
What do you mean, like how everything works?
Yeah.
You feel like that's like energy from
yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, again, it's the lens that you're looking at this through. You can look at it through a scientific lens, and you're going to come up with an answer. And if you look at it through a lens of religion or spirituality, you might come up with a different answer.
Yeah.
I think about it this way. I'm Catholic. If I pray, I hope that God answers my prayers, right? But I've also been just spiritual in the past when I've had my doubts and stuff like that, and I've known people who are not religious that are just spiritual. They call it manifesting. They're going to say something that they want, put it out there in the world, and they get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
who are
logical,
I guess,
like more scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can put the effort in to getting something that they want, and they'll get it, right? It's just the lens that you're looking at this through.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, no.
But what separates all of that from my beliefs is I've felt that I've prayed for things that cannot be called anything less than a miracle.
Okay.
Like, there's no way that this could have happened scientifically or just wishing it spiritually. Like, it had to have come from a higher power.
Yeah.
Because nobody else could have made it possible. And that's happened to me numerous times. For small little things as well as big things. So to me, that's what separates me from just being like this logical, scientific based person. I felt like I've experienced greater energy
so
than
where you
me.
have to believe in other things.
Yeah, where like there's something good watching over me.
Yeah.
There's a God, There's something there that I can't even begin to explain how he did this, but he did it. He made it happen for me.
Yeah. I believe in a higher power. I do believe there's a God. But and then my mom's side, she thinks there's only one God, right? So I don't. I believe there's multiple gods or other things that, but do I follow all these entities or these gods? I don't. I believe it's one source, and that's what I believe in.
So you do believe in the one God, but you also think that there's others?
I do believe, like Jesus, right? I believe Jesus was real. I believe in Jesus, but I do believe there was other people that were similar to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm not, and that's what we get into arguments, my mom and I. But I'm like, you know what, Mom? I believe in God. I believe there's something bigger than me, and that's all you have to be thankful, because you brought this on me. Yeah, no, but she's more like, no, Jesus is the only one. I'm like, it's okay, Mom. I believe Jesus was there too. Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's more out there. More than we
can perceive.
Yeah, definitely.
I won't even begin to pretend to know. Like, yeah, it could be something that we just can't even begin to comprehend.
Yeah.
But what I can comprehend has left me spooked and scared sometimes. But also at peace at other times. So, yeah, those stories. Supernatural.
Yeah. Probably should touch back to these stories. Talk about more stories.
Because I have a lot.
I do too. I didn't even touch base with any of them. I think I just shared like a little insight of what I used to experience. But lately, I feel like I haven't really experienced too much. Oh wait, am I not in the picture? Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, but one day we will write a book about these stories.
Why not? Honestly,
all of these. El cucuy de la mañana, in your case. De la madrugada. Ándale.
Yeah, no. It's funny, like you said, to bring this whole 180. The fact that people don't talk about this as if it were a real quote unquote thing is so baffling to me. Now that I'm older. As a kid, I definitely didn't want these things to be true. And I looked for every skepticism possible. I can admit, like, even as a kid, when I would hear something drop, I would go and, like, explore, like, what could have happened? Is there a window open? There has to, because I needed to disprove this. I needed to make sure that this wasn't real.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, like, the different stories I've heard throughout my life and what I've experienced myself, it makes me just be like, okay, this stuff could happen. If it's something bad, we need to talk about it to protect ourselves. To share the information of how it is that you can defend yourself and your family and your loved ones against these things. But if it's something good, also to share those stories so you recognize when you're seeing something amazing like a Seraphim or a throne angel,
whatever the heck.
And not be scared about it. Because who knows how much further we could have gone. Like, if you would have known it was an angel, what could you have asked it, What could you have learned at that time? Nothing. How enlightened could you have come out of that?
I said, not today, demon-looking thing.
Not today, angel. Yeah. But yeah, we should revisit these stories.
We should.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
You know what? I'm going to put it back in the bowl now so that it's back in there. And do you want to pool for next week's episode so that people can actually share with us their stories and be a part of the conversation?
This one?
I do. I thought it said something else.
What?
It says auras, okay, guys? Auras, okay. I guess it won't be long before we're talking more supernatural stuff, because auras is about like more about that same category. So we'll talk about auras next week. Okay, not the other one, guys. I don't want to see no DMs or emails about the other thing. Okay, there's enough of that on the internet to go around.
No.
And we hope you keep listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Ready?